Are we live? 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 Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to us here on Speaking of the Devils. I'm your host, Ryan Novozinsky, joining you from my home studio right here in lovely downtown Allentown, New Jersey. This is where I watched the Devils season die tonight. The Devils lost to the Ottawa Senators. I think final score is now going to be 4-1. I think, yeah, because Ottawa hit the empty net there. This, I think, is the unofficial, official end of the New Jersey Devils season. I think they're toast after this one. But we look at the. We're going to go ahead in a little bit and look at how much their playoff standings, or sorry, how much their playoff chances dipped after this one. And I'll show you guys the official numbers on that. And talk about the opportunities that the Devils could have seized tonight. But today was the unofficial official funeral for the 2025-26 New Jersey Devils, because there's no way they're climbing out of this rut. There's just no way. But I can't talk about any of this till I know that we are live. So somebody let me know in the comment section below if we are live, and then we will go ahead and get started. Before we get into that, before we get into my notes, before we get into all of this, we have to thank our friends over at New Spine for sponsoring us here on Speaking of the Devils. With 7 locations, they are New Jersey's leading institute for minimally invasive spine surgery. Live your best life pain-free. Visit newspine.com. That's nu-spine.com to find a location near you. Okay, so this 4-1 loss to the Senators tonight, this dipped New Jersey's record to 28-25-2 on the season. They are 24-2 since the 8-game winning streak. Remember that? Remember when the vibes and the season, it looked like this team was on the warpath towards at least a Stanley Cup appearance or something like that. At least a deep playoff run. At least the playoffs, right? How things have changed since then. They are now 9 points out of the second wild card spot. They are 7 points out of a division spot. The Islanders lost tonight. The Islanders got up to a 2-0 lead, so it looked like all hope was going to be lost anyway. But then the Islanders choked it away. The Devils could have seized on that. They could have been, I guess 5 points out of the playoff spot tonight with a win in Ottawa. But the Devils failed to capitalize on that opportunity, and now they sit 7 points out, which is where they sat at the beginning of the day. They nothing changes basically in that regard. They remain 7 points out of a playoff spot, and as I alluded to here in the pregame, just talking about their playoff chances. I mean, look, let's show you this handy dandy stat per Money Puck. Let's pull this up right here. So this is the game preview, and this is definitely like a very useful tool. If the Devils had won in regulation, they would have improved their playoff chances. I mean, they still are very low, but it would have bumped up to 17.5. Okay, with this loss, it is down to the single digits. They are at 9.7. 9.7 chance to make the playoffs. I can't believe that. I can't believe we're talking about early summer. I can't believe that at some point I'm going to have to talk about freaking draft, draft prospects and everything like that. This 25-26 season. I'm very curious what you guys think. Is this the most disappointing Devils season of all time? Is it? I mean, I'm genuinely curious because again, you guys might have a little more context than I do if you guys are lifelong Devils fans, and I'm a young lad, so 26 years ago plus, I'm not able to tell you expectations going into some seasons, but I'm very curious. What do you guys think this is the most disappointing Devils season of all time, based on the preseason expectations? I would have to say it's up there, right? We go into the training camp, and on day one, Fitzgerald's talking about it, Keefe's talking about it, everybody's talking about Stanley Cup. Like, that's what the conversation is, right? They're the ones that are saying that. So, look, if that's the expectation that you better at least sniff the playoffs, you're not even going to sniff the playoffs at this point. I mean, it looks like you're going to miss them by a pretty wide margin. Again, the Devils season died today, and now we could talk about. I'm sure that you guys are going to dive into should there be sellers, stuff like that. So we'll dive into that in a second. Anyways, Yeah, I mean, we can go goal by goal. I'm not going to go extensive and break down each goal just because I know you guys don't want to just relive that. But I do have some just numbers to point out. I mean, the Devils, the Brady Tkachuk goal. Devils have now been they've trailed first in 31 out of 55 games this season. They failed to score on their first two power plays. Right, they had two early power plays. They failed to score on theirs. Pesci, their best penalty killer, an excellent penalty killer, goes to the box, and then Ottawa immediately scores on their first power play opportunity. So of course, right? Um, and then Ottawa ended up getting another power play goal in the third period. Cousins. The Devils' penalty kill is 1 for 6 against Ottawa's power play this year. That is so bad. Timo Meyer scored probably the Devil that needed a goal the most at this juncture. First goal for him in 7 games. He has 3 points, all goals in his last 15 games. Dougie Hamilton had a point on this one, and then it was taken back. I actually think, yeah. So let me see. Yeah. So I don't. Dougie Hamilton didn't get a point tonight. So his point streak is snapped because they ended up giving this to Connor Brown. So Dougie's point streak ends at 10. It would have gone to 11, which is still, he had the longest active one in the NHL. I didn't realize this. This is per CJ Totoro. He was two away, I guess, from tying Scott Stevens' franchise record for point streak. I mean, that's crazy. As a defenseman, I would assume, because I think that there have been longer ones in years past. This was a just a vicious effort from Cody Glass here. Creates the net front chance, kind of twists around the net, and somehow, some way, lands the puck to Timo. He's been the Devils' best player lately, right? He's a point per game guy in his last 10 games. He's over 75% of the faceoff dot. This is Look, you're in a season full of doom and gloom, and rightfully so. The one bright spot is Cody Glass, right? And so it's kind of ironic because Fitzgerald almost did not end up resigning him. Anyways, towards the end there was the Brown goal, got called back. Brown tossed it into the net, kind of thing. But it did bounce off Ullmark, it looked. So I wasn't sure exactly how this one was going to shake out. It's kind of confusing. But in the end, the Devils don't get that. That could have, it was trending towards being an incredibly, insanely clutch goal. In the end, it just doesn't count. And the Senators pile on 2-3 more after that, and the Devils lose, and they lose their 25th game of the year, 28-25-2 on the season. And I just have to mention this again: 20-23-2 since that 8-game winning streak, which just feels like eons ago now. Just so bad. Anyways. Before I get into the chats, just a reminder, I'm going to start with our super chatters. So if you guys want to get your question in, if you want to get your comment in, if you want to just support local journalism, please consider sending us a super chat. It's super easy. You just click the little money symbol down there in the comment section. You can send it right from Apple Pay. You can send me $2. You can send me $200. Anything to help support the channel would be greatly appreciated if you guys could do that. But we start here with Alexander Johns. The next time he leaves his bunker, can you ask Fitz if he's looked at the standings yet? I will be outraged if we buy at the deadline. I'm glad that you asked this question, Alexander. Oh my God, why do the comments look like that? Hold on. This must have changed. Okay, boom. And why is it green? Sorry, everybody. I really have to fix this. Now it's bothering me. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. Oh no, okay, it was just green on mine. I'm an idiot. Anyways, that is, I know that was one of the quotable moments from Tom Fitzgerald's press conference. I think that's probably falls in line with more of a cliche than anything. I don't look at the standings, blah 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 blah. But if he genuinely truly hasn't looked at the standings, it's time to look at the standings, Tom Fitzgerald, because your team is 7 points out of a division playoff of a playoff spot. Period. Okay. 9 points out of the second wild card spot. This was supposed to be a year where the standings are so tight and you're able to take advantage of that. And it shouldn't even be the advantage here. The advantage should be you should be at the top of the standings because you have this core that is so highly lauded across the league, talked about, in league circles as being so great, and you get them at a good cost, and yet you're not able to do anything with them. You're not able to do anything with them because of the no move clauses you handed out. You got off the Palat business, that's great, but what are you going to do after that? I mean, that was a seemingly an anomaly. Like, are you going to be able to get out of all these other contracts? I mean, good lord, these future contracts that we're looking down in the pipeline, like. If it is Fitzgerald or if it's the next GM, how are you even going to get out of this Markstrom deal? Like, stuff like that. And again, a lot of this is just big picture, but it just goes to show what a mess the roster construction has been on this team. How much these players have underperformed this year. They deserve. There's a huge blame pie here. The biggest portion belongs to rests on Tom Fitzgerald. A sizey portion rests on Sheldon Keefe and the players, of course. I mean, these are the three ones that certainly would fit the biggest mold of this blame pie. But yeah, I mean, it's just this is one of the most disappointing seasons of all time for the Devils. And you said it best, Alexander. If they buy, huge mistake, huge mistake. I mean, that's just panic move central. Fitzgerald, a desperate GM, should not be able to make desperate moves in order to try to save his job security. Because make no mistake. Yes, he might be trying to squeeze every ounce of potential out of this team, but we need to start questioning whether squeezing every ounce of potential out of the 2026 Devils is the right move, because it might just end up being a panic, desperate move in order to save his job and not necessarily the best solution for the team long term. So that's the question that they have to weigh. Ownership should not give him that ability to make any sort of panic trade at this deadline, because a Fitzgerald panic trade should scare the hell out of you if you're a Devils fan. It should scare the hell out of you. What does that look like? I mean, trading off picks, trading off what's going to be a valuable first round pick in 2026, and even beyond for I don't even know, like Ryan O'Reilly, I guess Nashville's playing better though, so I don't even know if a guy like that would be available. Braden Shen. Like, come on, give me a break here. Guys like that, I mean, stay far away. Next, Sonic 9123. All right. Okay, this is great. First of all, Jimmy Nichols says this show sucked too. JK. First of all, Jimmy Nichols sucks. Second, this was horrible. RIP NJ, we cannot score. We have no idea. I have no idea what Tom Fitzgerald's going to do. Well, what he shouldn't do, Sonic 9123, is he shouldn't be able to make a panic move. Ownership should not give him the ability to make that panic move, because any trade right now, like, there's nothing that's going to fix this team. Let's just admit it, guys. What trade is going to fix this team at this juncture? Nothing. Are you gonna? Is all of this team's problems just going to magically disappear if you traded for a top six wing? Which, yes, they desperately need. But I don't think they will. I mean, I don't think the problems will magically disappear. Even if you address a top six wing and a third line center or something like that, or I can't even say third line center anymore because that's Cody Glass. A fourth line center depth. Period. Is that going to save your season? I don't think so. And are those two moves going to resurrect this team, which has been underperforming like crazy this year, into finally magically figuring it out? I just don't think so. I don't see it happening. Thank you to Sonic and Alexander Johns for the super chats, guys. Have a super chat goal. So if you guys want to, contribute, that would be a very, very big help. Let me go ahead and just retweet that one more time. Oh, we have another super chat. Rick Roma. Oh, man, Rick Roma coming in with the heat. Can we think about trading Jack? He's not a guy that can play 82 games plus 4 rounds of playoffs. With him gone, we don't have to keep Luke anymore. The core sucks. Not getting any pushback from me in your commentary about the core. The core has underperformed like crazy. I think that the roster construction around them has been shoddy at best, for sure. But at some point, you have to point the finger at the players as well. On your Jack point, it's tough. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league. But there is a lot of, how should I say this? I mean, there's a lot of baggage that comes with it, right? There's the injury factor, right? And there's what you just mentioned, like Luke Hughes, who has underperformed like crazy this year. I mean, you talk about players that have underperformed. I mean, he's probably top of that list, right? Um, you know, I did a trade rankings or trade tier list for Devils players a couple weeks ago, and I put Luke Hughes as like the second most untouchable player, and that's just by extension of you can't trade him because of his brother, right? That you've latched all of your hope on. If you latch all your hope onto Jack, who's an excellent player, don't get that twisted in my commentary here. But if you latch all your hope onto Jack, you better hope that he, rewards you by playing. Like your best ability is available, or your best ability is availability. Jack hasn't been available to you, and that's a big problem. So from top to bottom this offseason, the entire front office, the entire coaching staff, every single player, the Devils have to consider making some sort of dramatic shift, and Jack Hughes should not be exempt from that. That's what I will say. Anyways, but good question, and thank you guys for of course for your continued super chats. I appreciate that very much. Oh my God, I'm out of water. I'm parched. Okay, we will start here. We will start with Killabush. Killabush just says simply, fire everyone. Popular sentiment among Devils fans right now, I'm sure. And again, as I just mentioned, like I think that, what I think is going to happen is I think that these changes, like if there's any changes, will happen in the offseason. They'll wait till after the season to do this. Do I think that's a mistake? Yes, I do. Because I think that you should try to give somebody else a chance to see if they can fix it. Because look, you're just delaying the inevitable, right? Like, if you're ownership, you need to ask yourself this: do you truly believe that Tom Fitzgerald can climb his way out of this hole? Can he dig this team out of this hole that he created? If the answer to that is no, then you should fire him right now. Okay? And that's why the Devils should fire him right now, because look, he's the one that put them in this position in the first place. Why is he the one that should, be trusted to dig them out? And I know people are like, oh, well, the interim options are great. Anything is better than what you have right now. Anything is better than what you have right now. I understand he just, he got a good piece of business with the Palat contract, getting off of that. Sure, fine, great. He's the one that handed it to him in the first place. So like I struggled I hesitate, I should say, to dish out high praise for that, if you will. Anyways, Rick Roma again, sell now. We have one star player and he never plays. Fire Fitz and retool. I mean, look, it does seem like the Devils are just kind of that team that's just, screaming for a retool. This is like the worst possible outcome of, let's think back, let's rewind the clocks, 3 years, 4 years, whenever the 22, 23 season. If you were to play out in a simulation 100 different times, like how the next 3 years, 4 years would have played out, this is probably like the worst possible outcome, I feel like, of any sort of possibility there. Like we did not, like that team looked like they were on a dynastic trend, and now what are they? They're gonna miss the playoffs 2 times out of the last 3 years. That's terrible. That's terrible. It's inexcusable for a core that at its peak looked to be excellent. So pretty crazy. Basic guy 2378. So glad we never traded Mercer / Nemitz. Really paying dividends these days. Everyone wants changes, but then covet mid players. Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I sense the sarcasm in your reply. I understand it. I don't think that anybody's job should be safe in the sense of, their position should be safe, and that goes for the players too. I mean, that goes for Sheldon Keefe, obviously, that goes for Tom Fitzgerald, but the players too, like this deadline, everybody, you should take calls on every single player. I mean, honestly, I don't even think that's an overreaction at this point. Something feels rotten in that room. Something feels rotten in this core. And clearly these results, I mean, let's just say it like this, like I just said it a second ago. They're trending towards missing the playoffs for the second time in 3 years. That's abysmal. That's so bad. And tonight was probably the dagger. Let's face it. Okay? 9.7% chance to make the playoffs. And oh, by the way, you don't take advantage of an Islanders team losing tonight and choking in dramatic fashion. That's ridiculous. How do you not do that? I mean, it's just the timeliness. I mean, the Devils just have they can't make, Their goalies can't make timely saves, and they can't make timely wins. That's just been the story of the 2025-26 Devils. Tyler Seba. Cody Glass is the only one on the team who can consistently create offense. That says it all. It sure does. I mean, look, give him props for having a standout season. I mean, again, he's got 10 points in his last 10 games. But at the same time, it's also it's not a great sign if Cody Glass is what, like second, third in scoring on your team this year. I mean, that's gotta like Cody Glass. I mean, good dude, great player this year. Really proving to be an underrated signing, or an underrated re-signing, and an underrated trade from Fitzgerald. He shouldn't be your third or second or third, fourth, whatever it is, scorer on your team. He just shouldn't. And that, I think, adequately paints the picture of where the Devils are in the standings. Yeah. So, anyways, Westbound on Olympic. Shocker, Jack missed another game. Bet he'll be healthy for the Olympics, though. That would be a bad look. I will say that. That would be a bad look. I get it. First time in 12 years they're doing this. It's, there's no guarantees that Hughes will ever be able to do another Olympics, right? Just because, they might shift it back again. But if he's missing these 3-4 important games here to wrap up the first half, and then he magically is fine by the Olympics, which we're not going to crucify the guy for something that hasn't happened yet. It would be a bad look. Anyways, another super chat. Sonic 9123. Keep losing like this. No way we get Quinn, right? Quinn left Vancouver in large part due, I would say, to Vancouver's losing ways. The Devils are no better. I mean, I understand that record-wise, like they are definitely better than where the Canucks were. But what gives you confidence that the Devils are going to make any noise, and that the Devils are a Quinn Hughes away from being contenders? He goes to a team in Minnesota that was already really good, and then he makes them even better. Okay, we thought this team was really good. Now we know that the guys is over. Like the mirage, it was just a mirage, that 8-game winning streak. So I don't know why he would want. I mean, other than playing with his brothers, which is obviously a huge factor. I don't know why he would want to come to New Jersey. Like, if they were just random team, like just remove all the team names and everything like that, blind test, whatever. Quinn Hughes is no way picking this team, which has been a complete dumpster fire this season. Again, one of the most disappointing, if not the most disappointing, Devils seasons of all time. Let's move on. Let's see. Sorry, just picking some interesting. Trying to find an interesting one. Go here to Kevin Inspire, person we've never heard from in the chat, or I don't know if I've clicked on your questions before, Kevin, but thanks for tuning in. I feel like this is a lost season and somebody needs to be let go. Kevin, the time for that was weeks ago. I mean, let's just face it, man. The time for that as long past. I feel like it's a given. It feels like delaying the inevitable. It feels like this team is just going to spiral and spiral and spiral, and then they're just going to let everyone go at the end of the season. If you think that if you believe in this core and you think everything is salvageable here, fire somebody now to try to get a spark plug, right? Even if that's just like Dave Rogalski or something like that, one of the assistants, get something, some sort of spark. It's worked for other teams this year. The Devils, haven't seemed to figure that out yet. They are, keeping it status quo. For a team that says they're so anti-status quo, they are sure are keeping it status quo, which is it's disappointing. I think it's incredibly disappointing. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up that because, this is just a completely another depressing stinker for the Devils. Quick shout out to my man Stephen Woj, who gave me this lovely. It's a painting of Scott Stevens. There's another one of Patrick Elias that I'm going to hang up. It's massive, but he hung that up, and I finally got some Devil stuff in the background. So shout out to Stephen Woj, a friend of the show, just one of the listeners that we met up at Dolce and Clemente's in Robbinsville, and he handed me these two paintings, and they're amazing. So I'll have the Elias shop one by the next stream. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you after Tuesday's game. Let's see if the Devils, can give you guys at least some hope after Tuesday, and if not, the season will just continue to circle the drain. But until then, I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.